is Kevin Osido, just to try and explain to us the political intrigues that played yesterday and even before the elections were held, owing to the fact that, Mr. Osido, these elections have been pushed, have been suspended twice, owing to the political differences between Jubilee and NASA. But what we saw yesterday was something totally different, because Jubilee was eyeing this seat. Then finally, it looks like President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga played a role in ensuring that NASA gets this seat.
Indeed, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I would agree with you to the extent that there must have been some bit of handshaking, quote unquote, between the president and the former prime minister. And first and foremost, I probably have to congratulate Mheshimiwa Governor Oparanya, because he's one of the governors that has also showed that he's able to stand tall beyond the political intrigues and the political terrain that we have seen, taking note that indeed the elections have also been pushed a number of times, and this is because of the political environment and the prevailing circumstances that we have seen taking place in the country. But much more fundamentally is to also to look at the achievements that the governors have been able to underscore within their individual capacities. And Governor Oparanya, not to, of course, mention that you remember he also hosted the president in Kakamega last year during the Madaraka Day celebrations, and hosting the head of state, and with of course with the glamour that comes with it and the preparation, the preparedness that it takes. Of course, I believe that was also one of the things that has made Governor Oparanya to be able to be seen as someone who is not only able to stand beyond the political tensions, but also be able to be directive enough to deliver. Because if you went to Kakamega today, you would see lots of development that has taken place, and the residents of Kakamega County are not only excited about what is taking place, but that the governor has also been able to rise above the tensions between the county assembly, the issues surrounding Kakamega County, and of course, not also to mention the devolution conference which took place in Kakamega County. So I must be probably, I have to take note of these milestones, because for you to be the chair of the CoG, there are a lot of things that governors look at. And Brenda, one of the key issues indeed is also to look at what is taking place in Kenya today, because we're talking about referendum, and governors are looking for someone who is able to take Moses Road, if I could call it, and strike the middle of the Red Sea. And I think Governor Oparanya is someone who, other than being the deputy party leader of ODM, but is also able to stand tall and speak what needs to be spoken when it needs to be spoken. And you note that governors are also concerned around the place of devolution, and so they are looking for someone who is able to say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. They're looking for someone who is able to of course, present proposals that will be able to protect devolution. And I also have to say that there must have been a lot of mathematics, subtractions, divisions, and additions that must have taken place, hence the lengthy time that was taken, that the governors took to be able to arrive at their leadership. And so, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that the governors were not looking at someone who will be singing the tune of the government. Yes, we are in the period of the handshake, but devolution is something that is here to stay. Other than the political, engagements that are going on right now, the governors are interested in that individual who is able to protect devolution and also be able to speak to the government what needs to be spoken, so that resources are brought down to the counties. With the policies that need to be put forth are also put forth. And you note that the governor that is now the CoG chair-elect, Governor Oparanya, has also played quite a key role in terms of putting in place the Lake Region Economic Bloc. All right, Brenda,
so Osido, if I may cut you short, are you trying to say that this was bound to happen? Because after the 2017 elections, there was a lot of political debate from Jubilee Party to have Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru take this position. So, change of tune, are you trying to say that this was bound to happen, that opposition was going to be given this seat?
This was bound to happen. But you also note that there are a lot of, which is why I spoke about the mathematics, because you note that even in the committees, then ODM, most of the seats of the committee chairs have not gone to the other side of the political divide, because most of those seats have actually been given to the government side. And in fact, quite surprising enough is that even the committee, the health committee that ODM sits, not to mention the governor that has been leading this since 2013, has also gone to a different governor. And so I must say, therefore, that in agreeing with you, it was not only bound to happen, but that the governors were also keen to look at what does the future hold, and how will this be read even in the minds of not only the opposition, but also the mind of the government. But much more fundamentally is the place of devolution, because you know that currently, other than what is taking place, which is the handshake, but since 2015, 2016, 2017, devolution has more or less seemed to be at threat. And so what this means, therefore, is not just to say that it was bound to happen, but that the governors were keen to look at that person who will be able to represent them, the gentleman who will be able to also speak their language to the leadership. Now, the former Vice Chair, Mheshimiwa Anne Waiguru, I am a little bit surprised that, in fact, she even wanted to vie for this position. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because from 4th to 8th of March, we'll be at Kirinyaga County for the devolution conference. And historically speaking, we haven't seen the person who becomes a chair also hosting the devolution conference. And I probably have to agree with her that two things would happen. One is that for the first time after this, the tenure of Mheshimiwa Paranja, we may probably see the coming in of the first female chair of the Council of Governors after having hosted a devolution conference. But of course, we have to congratulate her also for the work that she did for a very successful devolution conference for 2017 in Kakamega.
So what message does it send to Mvurya? Because owing to the fact that, you know, Mvurya was promised a lot of political goodies should he ditch ODM party, which he did, and vied for his re-election as Kwale governor on a Jubilee ticket. And surprisingly, he was not even voted as the deputy, and he was supposed to deputize Waiguru should Waiguru, in case Waiguru won the seat. So what message, my question is, what message does political message is being sent to Waiguru and specifically Mvurya?
That is where the undoing of Governor Mvurya is. You note that for the first devolution conference in 2014, he did a very good job to be able to host the inaugural devolution conference in 2014 in Kwale. But unfortunately, when you are a leader who is indecisive, that you either is someone who is easily swayed, that when you are told to move to this side, you move to that side, when you're needed on the other side because of what you're going to gain, then that is probably what the response of most of the governors would be at this point. And so I have to credit this failure to the governor himself. I think he has not played a very good role in terms of standing tall beyond the political machinations between the council itself, and indeed to be able to be seen to be someone who can be able to provide leadership. Of course, not to mention that he comes from the Coast Province, and I think that one of the fruits of devolution that most Kenyans would pride in is to be able to give an opportunity to areas that have been historically marginalized. For example, the Coast region, to be able to not only provide leadership, but to be able to be seen to be spurring the leadership in the direction of resource allocation to counties. But this is not lost for the governor. I think he still has time. If, unfortunately, he cannot be governor again because he's serving his second term. But let's hope and see. Probably when the next government comes in office, his dreams for the swayness would probably be answered. But I think his failure to be a chair of the CoG is his own undoing. He should have stood tall. Look, for instance, Governor from Makueni County, who is now the chief whip. He was elected chief whip. And this is probably from my own analysis, and what I see is that the governors are looking for someone who is not only knowledgeable about issues, not only able to provide leadership, but also someone who is able to provide wisdom, because the governor for Makueni, Professor Kivuta Kibwana, has been someone who, for example, you note that when the two principals were unable to speak, he was able to whip and bring together different leaders, and they put together a team to be able to move on and speak to the president and also to the former prime minister. And I think that is part of the reasons why the governors were saying this gentleman is able to whip us, he is able to provide leadership. And even in his county, ceteris paribus, all the issues and the challenges that most counties are facing, he has been able to provide leadership and to show that devolution is working.
All right, and talking about Osido rather, talking about, you know, in terms of allocation of resources, we'll have that discussion of the short break we're taking, because, you know, the election of Wycliffe Opanya also comes at a time when CRA is also talking about issues of distributing funds to the 47 counties. Now, let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we shall be talking to Kevin Osido about all that here on KTN News Center.